Sister Rebecca, lead us in an opening prayer.
The Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Loving Father, we thank you so much for this West Nile. We thank you for this commission, everyone, the minister, Donald. Thank you for everyone who is attending this meeting. We ask you to come to us that what we are going to discuss here will be open-minded, with open mind, and everything will be articulated well, so our schools will also benefit from, especially teachers like any other school in the country. We thank you and be with us as we get ready for this. Thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Sister Rebecca. May I request that you mute your microphone now?
Yes, please.
Okay, I've been getting a feedback. Madam Koita, could you open and let me know if you can hear me?
Yes, I'm able to hear you clearly.
Wonderful. Dear friends, we are happy that we are meeting today. My name is Ronald Dungu. I can put off my glasses so that you see the person. I'm your new desk officer, and we are here to interact for the first time. On our agenda, if I may go back to the agenda, we've had the welcome prayer, the opening prayer. I know that Madam Kointa is not feeling well, but we want to hear some remarks from you, Madam Kointa, and then I'll go into my presentation. So over to you, Madam Kointa, if you can open and welcome us.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dungu. In the first place, I would like to thank God so much for this wonderful and very rare opportunity that He has given to us to hold this virtual meeting. Colleagues, you will agree with me that this is the first of its kind for a desk officer to convene a meeting for his region. We want to thank you so much, sir, for this initiative that you have taken. I wish to welcome all our head teachers who are already on the call. We thank God for successful opening of the term and of your schools. I know that there are lots of challenges. It is not easy. Nevertheless, all of you have been able to open successfully. Today, we are having a virtual meeting with our new desk officer. Please feel at home, feel at West Nile. When the time comes, speak very openly, addressing your issues to the right person who carries our voice to the bigger people. In a special way, I would like to welcome our desk officer. Sir, you are most welcome to the region. In this region, we have got about 267 secondary schools. Some are private schools, 96 are government schools. So you can imagine the number of schools that you're going to take care of. There are quite many. And the region has got 13 districts. And that is Adjumani. We have got Arua City, Arua District. We have got Madiokolo, Maracha, Moyo, Nebi, Obongi. We have got Pakwach. We have got Terego, Yumbe, and Zombo. Those are the 13 districts of West Nile. We are so happy to have you as our new desk officer. Most of us have not yet met you in person, but I know that very soon we are going to meet you. And from the way you have been communicating to some of us, it feels like we have already met. And I like that kind of feeling. You have picked up from where Madame Zuleika left, and we are quite sure that you will take us to the next level. Please convey our greetings to Madame Zuleika. She was so nice to us, so motherly to us, and we miss her. But even if we miss her, we know that when the time came for her, she had to move to another station. And we thank God for that. And we receive you very warmly, sir. We appreciate the way you engage us on very important issues. In this way, I believe no one will be left behind as long as we all cooperate and we work together. I am encouraging all colleagues to cooperate very closely with our new desk officer for efficient service delivery and provision. From the way our desk officer talks to us, from the way he is in touch with the region, I strongly believe that we are going to work very well with him. So colleagues, be encouraged to always reach him whenever there is need. And if it will be accepted, sir, I am requesting that our regional secretary takes our minutes. Mr. Bangi is already on the call. I saw him in the list of participants. I'm just requesting, if possible, he could take those minutes. I know that you are recording, sir. I do not know whether taking the minutes will not be necessary. You will give us guidance on that. Very quickly, colleagues, I believe you know of the programs that are already in motion. One of them is the Teacher Changemaker Development Program. I'm calling upon implementing districts to lay strategies for successful implementation of the program. As you are aware, there are those of you whom I was able to meet on Saturday. I shared with you that West Nile is doing extremely well at the national level. We are being rated very highly. And actually, when it comes to data capture and implementation, we are rated #1. And this is drawing a lot of attention to West Nile. So very soon, there are monitors that will be coming from the national level, from the National Office and Ministry of Education and Sports. So let us be prepared to welcome these monitors and let us do our best so that the impact on the ground that they will see will match the kind of data that we have been submitting. This is another one is about ASHU funds. Already our national chair on our national platforms and regional platforms has been reminding us, actually the reminder has already reached us 2 times, to pay the ASHU funds that we have been collecting according to those percentages that you know. So kindly remember, I have been reminding you on this. I've been asking you to read his reminder and act as soon as possible. Second term has been the term that we always remit. And we shall request the treasurer very soon to raise a list so that we can keep on ticking. Whichever school submits, remits, we tick that school. You know, we shall be doing it that way in the open so that everyone is able to see that they have remitted or they have not yet done it. So I hope we are going to cooperate on that one, because if regional activities are to move, then we need funds. And when you contribute, then we shall be able to operate effectively. Even at the districts, you need funds in order to operate effectively. We have got another big thing that is soon coming to us to West Nile, and that is none other than the MDD national festivals, actually East African, because it is involving even the Kenyans and perhaps other countries. We shall know soon which countries will come and join us in Uganda, but West Nile is going to host these MDD festivals. So we have already started the preparatory meetings, and when you are called upon to come and join in any of the committees, please be willing to support the whole process. We are very expectant and expecting you to cooperate so that we can have a very successful festival. We all remember what happened when we hosted AGM, the national meeting for all head teachers. And so we would like to clear every doubt that people have about West Nile. Already we hosted the boys football last year and it was done very successfully. If we can only host this MDD festival successfully, then I think people will have a new understanding of West Nile. Again, I'm continuing to remind us about the need to share information and respond very fast when we are called upon to do so. I say this because there are some of us who are still so relaxed when called upon to respond to a particular, information. We take our time, and that may not be good. It causes delay in service provision, and we need to really improve on that. As you can see, our new desk officer is someone who is really using ICT a lot, and I think we all have to change and embrace his style and method of work. For me, I've already liked it, and I know with this kind of style, my travels to Kampala will be very limited, but my contact with him will not be limited, and the rest of the officers. So let us take that very seriously and begin to respond. Currently, our desk officer, the new one, is collecting data on teaching gaps, on deputies, on head teachers, and maybe there are still some more that will come. And since he has convened this meeting himself, I'm quite sure he is going to have a lot to say about that. So when the time comes, let us listen very carefully, take notes, and respond as required. Finally, there will soon be an SCP conference in Eswatini, and we are all being called upon to prepare to attend this conference. I believe some of you have already seen the invitation, details about our travel, accommodation, and so on, that has already been shared on the national platform and even on our regional platforms. Please prepare yourself. It is in August, and be there. Let the Ugandan delegation be big. Let the West Nile delegation also be big. Eswatini is the former Swaziland. So that is to clear doubts. If for some people who are wondering, where is this Eswatini? This is just the former Swaziland. So they're expecting us there. And I believe when we go, we shall learn a lot from them. So I believe from me, this is all for now. This is where I'm going to stop. I say all this for God and my country. You are all most welcome for this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Koita, who is our regional chairperson, Ashu, West Nile. And I want to thank you for the mobilization you've made for this meeting. Today, we are starting off at 21, but in future, we'll want to see if we can have all the 96 mentioned online. Ladies and gentlemen, I should I've put my video so that you see the person speaking to you. I will request that we switch off the videos because then it affects the rest of the members. So I will switch off mine and request that we switch off the videos. We can put them back at the time when you're asking a question so that we can have a smooth transition. Otherwise, the bandwidth gets consumed by the videos. So if you don't mind, those who have their videos on, you could actually have your video off so that we can all have a smooth flow of information. I tried to put down what I wanted to speak about so that I could be able to do this well. So my name is Ronald Dungu, and I'm a Principal Education Officer in the Ministry of Education and Sports, but I'm also your District Focal Point Officer, West Nile and Acholi region. I have put here my WhatsApp number for ease of communication by my MTN. Those who can write, my MTN is 0772 433 879. 0772 433 879. Now, if you have a question, you can put it in the chat for now because we have closed you up. You may not be able to speak, but we shall have time after my presentation to reflect back on the number of issues raised. I know that Madam Koita has almost said a number of issues, but I will repeat them where I need to emphasize. This session is to introduce myself to you and to mention a few things, but I know that we shall get time in future when we meet physically in West Nile, maybe at the MDD competitions or when we are preparing for MDD so that we can talk more physically. I'm a physics mathematics teacher, and that means that if there is anything to do with the physics and mathematics, I can be of help. I'm also an ICT enthusiast. I must say, I don't have much training in ICT, but I used ICT in my teaching and I use it in my work. I'm also an advocate for agriculture education. So when you hear me talk about agriculture several times, then you know that I come from that background. I am also an advocate for contextualizing learning using the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And I request that all head teachers read about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals because it is important, as I will mention going forward. So that is about me. And definitely, if you speak within these lines, you are bound to catch my eye, but that does not mean that I will not listen to any other discussions. Just a few things about the ASHU leadership. I want to request that we make use of our ASHU leaders in our districts and the region. And I know that ASHU covers both government and private schools. Today we are meeting as government secondary schools without the private schools, but next time we shall meet as secondary schools because there are quite a number of issues I work on across all the schools, although I'm a desk officer again for the government secondary school. I want to thank Madam Kointa for organizing our meeting and for responding to my calls. I've been asking her a lot to collect head teachers' data, which she did. Only that we missed, I think, Maracha district. Maracha district is one of the 13. We got 12 districts. The 13th district was Maracha. So I'm trying to gather that information. And maybe if there is anyone from Maracha district joining in today, we want to request that you reach out to Madam Koita so that we have your data recorded. I'm now waiting for the deputy teachers list, and we need to know all this data about the school leaders in the school. I know that Acholi region is ahead of us because all their data has been sent to my email, but I also know that I met physically, I met all the head teachers in Acholi region during their AGM, but I've not been able to find, I think your AGM was the last month, maybe in May. I missed that, but there will be an opportunity for us to meet. So I'll be using the Acholi region office for all communication, either to a particular district or districts, or to a particular school or schools. And I request the region office to make use of the Acholi district offices so that we build stronger structures. Kindly respond when contacted by the leaders, because at times we are also required to submit information quickly, and we have to do that. Some important information. Madam Koita could have issued out a document which had guidelines for the boards of governors. Let us ensure that the boards of governors are functional, and let us follow the guidelines for renewing the boards of governors. Now, while speaking about boards of governors, I know that even this morning I received somebody who brought their file, and then I started ticking off this, asking for this, asking for the other. The reason why we send this information early enough is for you to do the needful. I'm not the type who actually wants to keep asking people, go back and bring this, go back and bring this. So please let us do our best. Let us read the guidelines. And if they are not with us, let us ask Madam Koita for that. I can resubmit to her whatever we need. Budgets. The budgets that were not submitted earlier will now be submitted to the PS. So you take them to the PS's office and not the government secondary department. This is a change, and it took effect recently. And I hope you did receive that information. However, read the guidelines that have been issued and consider those as the current guidelines. I know that ASHU or other head teachers requested for a waiver this year, but we wait for a reply from the responsible office, which is the PS's office now. Otherwise, for now, if you had not put the PTA minutes, please make sure they are very near you. If you did not put the minutes for the finance committee meeting, make sure they are very near you. If you did not put the 3 circulars for the year, please make sure they are very near you. Otherwise, what I had requested the team in Acholi region was to bring back a complete book and exchange with the book they had submitted, but that did not, the change did not wait for that. And now the books are before another office, but maybe there will be a waiver for all that information that was not given to you earlier. And in case they ask for the same guidelines, please be able to submit quickly, because then the budgets must be approved since they've taken quite some time. I know that West Nile has a lot of teaching gaps, and I have issued a form to Madam Koita so that we capture teaching gaps. Kindly fill in that form so that I get to see the teaching gaps. We want to do our best and fill the gaps, but we also know that there are challenges. There are challenges of teachers not wanting to come to West Nile. And that takes me now to the next point of deployments. We issued a form for deployments, and that form is titled transfer and deployment. It's, I think, the other way around, deployment and transfer teachers form. Now, deployments are talking to the newly recruited teachers, those who have been given notification letters and are not yet deployed. If you have any of such teachers on your desk, do two things: fill in the physical form, but also fill in the online form. Now, when you fill in the online form from your school, it helps me not to collect 200 forms and then begin to fill them in from my end. But I will receive the 200 forms while they are already online. But what does this mean? If you cannot use online forms, you cannot fill in the online documents, please find the next head teacher. We are going to work in clusters, and I will mention that more frequently. Let us work in clusters. Let us work with each other. Go to the fill in the form, even the transfer form. You want some teachers to be transferred. Now, if the head teacher wants teachers to be transferred, you must write a letter and say, because of ABCD, I want this teacher transferred. But if a teacher is, for example, sick and they are requesting for transfer, and there is another head teacher in another region who has said, I can receive them, then there is a form, that deployment and transfer form, which they fill. You sign, and the other head teacher also signs. Now, that form, and for the newly deployed teachers with notification letters, you also fill in that form. Capture that information online as you also prepare the physical documents. Now, the most important thing is here. If we are in the same region and all of you have filled in these deployment forms or even transfer forms, or even if you are submitting these budgets and you know you have done very well, maybe budgets now are out of my jurisdiction, but this board of governors, if you filled in everything and your book, your file is complete, two people should not board the bus and come. One person can carry for three people. This business of all of us moving, we are all spending money, we are spending time. You come, you don't find me, then you wait for a night if you must find me. Please, if there are bigger issues, let's make a call so that I know that there is a bigger issue, but someone is going to bring that booklet or that form. You cannot imagine meeting somebody very early in the morning at 7 on your door, 7:30, those who come by bus, and they've just come to bring in this form because they want deployment of 2 teachers, 3 teachers. They have filled in this form, or they have come to hand in the board of governors file, and then the next person. And when you ask them, they're actually coming from the same district, but they may even be near each other. So maybe the sub-counties are far, that is understandable, but let us now make plans. Let us make plans of talking to each other so that we support each other. Madam Koit has talked about the National MDD Festival. Please and please, I've been told to let you know, whoever is chairing, I think, I don't know who is chairing this, but we are hosting. The region is hosting. So please prepare the budgets early and be very critical about the budgets and organize the budgets well. Because the officer running this program here at the ministry wants to receive these budgets in good time and be able to discuss with you on this so that the funds can be arranged quickly and let the festival run as smoothly as possible. Right now, there are financial issues. So finance has challenges. It's telling us the money is not there, but that does not mean that things will not improve for the future. Yes, we are connecting online for quick actions. And I just wanted to find out, of course, let me just stop sharing here a little bit and see. Arua City, Arua District, Arua City and Arua District, we have 15. By show of hands, let me just find out who is from Arua, either the city or the district. By show of hands, I'm also testing to see if members can put up their hands. Yes, Sister Josephine is from Arua. Sister Josephine, are you the only one representing Arua today? Okay. No one else. Okay. Somebody, Maxwell, is also from Arua. There is a third one. Okay. Now, why I chose Arua, because it is in the center, call it the center. And I know that even here in the capital city, we get challenges with the schools in the capital city. While schools elsewhere, even West Nile schools can join 26 of them this afternoon. If you made a Zoom call here in the center capital city, you might actually fail to get the people from Kampala city. So the cities are always a challenge, and we want to make sure that they are always running with us when we need them. So that's why I checked on Arua City to see. But I've also spoken about making clusters to support each other. We are running an EMIS program, and we are looking for district support schools. I hope some of the schools here are supporting the rest of the head teachers on EMIS. We call them district support schools on EMIS, but we are going to call them district support schools in everything, So if you are such a school that would like to support other schools, please let Madam Koita know that you are ready to support, so that we'll also think about you as a district support school. Now, talking about EMIS, the Education Management Information System, I put out, I think this is Koboko District. Koboko District has 9 schools, and I can ably go into each of these schools to see what is there. I can tell the number of teachers you have uploaded. I can tell the number of learners you have uploaded. And I do this across the country. I do this from pre-primary to university, and I'm here in the ministry to support everyone on EMIS. So I would like to answer all your questions on EMIS, and it is very important that West Nile and Acholi regions are doing so well on EMIS. So we would love that all learners and teachers are on the portal before the end of term 2. And for those with refugee cases, I know you have quite a number of challenges, but those challenges shall be handled when the Office of the Prime Minister provides their database. So if it is about refugees, I can understand. But if it is not about refugees, then we need to answer the questions. And we request that you join what we call the district support schools team, and I will share the link with Madam Koita if I've not yet. Madam Koita can share it with you. And never mind, all the people working on your EMIS issues can join that group, such that you have information, you have your answers. Whenever you have a question, your answer, an answer can be given. So I would like to encourage all the schools within our region to work very hard and make sure that EMIS is up and running. But even beyond that, we want to request you as a secondary school to support that primary school next to you. There must be a primary school there. You could start with the government, but you might end up also lending a hand to the private. And what do we want you to do? Even just sitting with a head teacher and asking, how is EMIS? How are you doing? What is the challenge? By the way, you are going to discover that our primary schools have quite a number of challenges, but yet you could be the ones to support them. So please do not sit back. Do not sit back. Support the primary schools near you, because we want you to be supportive as a school. Moving out of EMIS, I want to speak about you as the head teacher in that school. And I'm just mentioning here that let us aim at research-based schools to create a fundamental change. Can our schools create that change that the community is expecting out of us, or that the community will be excited about? I just took a report, a 2015 report, and I will share this presentation with Madam Koita so that she shares it. So you can go into such a report. But what I noted about this report, it's about school dropout in West Nile. And they are saying only 6 girls are enrolled in secondary school for every 10 boys enrolled. So we have 6 out of 6 to 10, 6 girls to 10 boys. I don't know what the situation is, but maybe there are many issues around the girls' education. But one of the issues they highlight in that report is that girls' own beliefs about their roles and their value as compared to boys' roles and values were strongly associated with the dropout. I picked this because as a school, we have a job to do to transform these beliefs, to make sure that the boys and girls in our schools believe that they can all do the same thing. If we are talking about STEM, science, technology, and mathematics education, the girls are there while the boys are also there. If we are talking about computer science, the girls are there and the boys are there. Even when we are talking about law, the girls are there, the boys are there. But even if we do not talk about those high courses, even if we come down to schooling, the candidates at senior 4, the girls are there, the boys are there. So let us do our best as a school, as the head teacher, to make sure that we do something. What is it that you're going to do to make sure that you have more girls coming into your school than boys? To make sure that you convince the community to give you more girls than boys? To make sure that that primary school, because when you go into primary schools at the earlier level, you will find actually the girls and the boys are almost the same. But what happens? During the dropout, you see more girls dropping out. Maybe it is culture, maybe it is the community. So what are we going to do as head teachers to ensure that that changes around our school and within our school? So I just wanted to bring this slide to you as one of those issues that I want to leave with you to think about. And let us see 2-3 years later, what happens for that school, for that head teacher who decided to take up a research-based approach to running the school. I'll say a few things about the new lower secondary curriculum. I know that you know much about the new lower secondary curriculum, but I just want to mention that the learners are now expected to identify challenges in their immediate community and the world at large, since Uganda is part of the global village. So when we talk about technology, when we talk about ICT, it helps us to come together. Now, 28 of us are here, or 26 of us are here today, and we are talking. Maybe we can still close this learning gap across schools. We can listen to each other. We can learn from each other. If you are doing something good, share it with us. How do you share it? Maybe it is a Zoom session. If you asked me to organize Zoom sessions for you to talk, I'll be able to do that and send the link, open up the page for you, and then you talk. After 2 hours, it closes, and we go for our own things. Even if it is 1 hour, we can have that. So that is the global village. We need to take our schools to the global village. If you decided to know more about me, go to Google and put in Ronald plus Dungu. Put in both of my names, Ronald plus Dungu. You will read about me. I'm not going to tell you much about me. I've already told you the basics. But if you want to understand where I'm coming from and where I want West Nile to go, where I want each of the head teachers to go, where I want each of the schools to be, then you can read a little bit about me on Google, and then you will know this is where this gentleman is taking us. And surely, for me, I'll be there with whoever is willing to be there. Whoever wants to remain the way we have been, we can always remain the way we have been, but I will also not allow you to remain the way you have been for as long as I'm still here in West Nile. So because of this, the teachers are encouraged to learn from their learners about the common activities within the near and far community and help them develop transformational projects, activities using the 17 Sustainable Development Goals framework. And I'm still encouraging you to read. You know, the new curriculum tells us to find that problem. What is the problem in your community? It may not be the local community. It may be the wider community. But what is the problem that you're solving? How would we know the problems of this world unless we know the Sustainable Development Goals? So I would like to leave this homework with you, dear head teachers, to read about the Sustainable Development Goals and take it to the teachers. Go back to the staff room tomorrow and tell them to read about the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, and ask whenever you have a staff meeting for a few people to present on some of these goals. Then you discover all these non-government organizations working within your districts. They are focusing here. And this is how they will come to you. This is how you will encourage friends to come to you so that they can support our schools. So we need to look outwards so that we can bring people inwards to support us. So is that student dropping out of school after 1 or 2 years able to use the knowledge gained in your school to transform their personal and community's way of life? The new curriculum is about making our learners relevant to their families, to their community. So is that teacher, whoever is teaching, whatever they are teaching, is it only creating cram work? Is it only giving them knowledge without actions? What are you doing with the learners in your school? So I would like to encourage you to look at your school system, look at every teacher, Look at every classroom and ask yourself one question. That student who is sitting in that class for those 2 hours or 3 hours, or who has sat in that class for a whole term, are they gaining knowledge that will enable them to transform their personal or community's way of life? If that is not the right answer, if you're not getting that as the answer, then we have to think about it. We have to read beyond the usual. We have to do more as head teachers. I also just want to mention here that I'm reliably informed that Senior 3 textbooks are expected soon, or they may already be with you. But we had a challenge as a ministry, as a government, the books delayed, but we are hoping that these books will be out there in good numbers very soon. I know Senior 1 and Senior 2 textbooks may not have been in good numbers, but that is why we need EMIS. We want EMIS. We want to know how many learners are in which school, such that we stop guessing. When we are calculating that this one book can be used by so many learners, we should be able to tell how many learners. Otherwise, some schools are receiving many more books than they need, while other schools are receiving only 1 or 2 copies because the data was not accurate. So let us do whatever it takes to make sure that EMIS is complete. As I said, those with the refugees, yes, we know the challenge is there, but the physical notes should be in school to be able to tell us how many learners are in school, even if we are not seeing them on EMIS as yet. I want to mention a few things here about the Nehemiah initiative. I don't know how many people have read or have heard about this. If you've heard about the Nehemiah initiative, you can just type in the chat and say, yes, we shall know. We shall know. If you've heard about this, type in the chat. But this is a program which is greening schools for enhanced learning and well-being, and it was launched by the First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports in 2022. And one of the objectives listed in the project document was to increase tree cover in schools through performance-based tree growing by students and teachers. And they're talking about performance-based tree growing by students and teachers. And when they mention teachers, the head teacher is part of that. So the ministry intends to plant boundary trees to protect school land, fruit trees to promote nutrition, and woodlots to supply firewood to schools. I'm not sure if there is any school listed as a pilot school that can tell us more about this. Any school, type in the chat if you're a pilot school. Is there any school, type in the chat and I'll give you chance to talk to us. Yes, somebody has heard about it. Madam Koita has heard about it. I'm also getting more information about it, but there might be pilot schools already. Yes, somebody in Zombo. They've heard about Nehemiah initiative and we are planting trees and boundaries. Yes, Father Alfred, let me stop here. Alfred, Father Alfred, if you can, let's see, open your microphone, Father Alfred. Just tell us the little you are doing. Father Alfred, open your microphone.
Yes,
Speak
sir.
to us. Tell us the little you are doing.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the sharing this afternoon. It's very enriching. I think we are going to improve much more in our management systems. The tree planting and the woodlot, we have been planting trees right now in our neighborhood, trying to mark our boundaries as designed for the school area. And also we have cleared lands to increase woodlot to be planted actually in this season as we are rains are falling. And then we had already marked some other areas of the school plot with the trees to identify us from there. And then on the school compound, we have planted some fruit trees, which are in place, and we have cleared about 4 acres of land for banana planting right now. We actually started planting already. Thank you.
So are you a pilot school on this program?
Not really. When that communications was made, and our borders had interested us, so we picked on it, and we are trying to go in that direction.
Wonderful, wonderful. Which school is this, Father Alfred?
Wargal Secondary School.
I think this is the person I wanted to discover. And I knew there was that head teacher. There was that school that does not wait, but acts immediately. Thank you, Father Alfred, and you are going to give us more information in future. We shall visit, we shall ask you, and I hope you are online. We want that information shared online, and I'm going to speak about that shortly. But what we want is to be visible. As schools in West Nile, we want to be visible. We want everyone to know what we are doing all the time. So if you've planted a tree today, let's see it. Give us, the English language teacher should teach the students to write a short story about it. Let's read it online. Let us open blogs. And I'm also going to request that I have a meeting with the ICT teachers, the deputy teacher, and the DOS, so that we talk more about being visible. And the head teacher is also invited to that meeting. I will speak about it in the next slide. So even before asking the next question, whether there is a school that has been in the practice of planting trees, Father Alfred, I'm yet to learn the name of the school, but please, Father Alfred, you got
Yes,
my
sir.
Airtel number. My Airtel number is my WhatsApp, 0701 433 878. If there is any school doing anything as far as greening their schools is concerned, like Father Alfred has mentioned, send me pictures, send me a story on what you are doing. I want to share this. I want to tell everyone that for us in West Nile, we are moving. Never mind, even if it is one school moving, all of us are moving. And let everyone now begin to look at us and say, let us focus on West Nile. And friends, you will see the beauty when people are focusing on West Nile. You will see the beauty when organizations are running to West Nile, when the ministry is focusing on West Nile, when everybody wants to hear what is in West Nile, what can we do about it, what else do they need? And in the story as it unfolds, we'll be able to show that we need this, we need solar, we need more classrooms, we need this, we have fewer girls, we want them to be in school, we are anxious to, we are waiting, ready to receive the girls, and everyone will now think about us going forward. But we are starting from where the First Lady has said, let's do this. By the way, this is a directive. It is not a just mention here. It's a directive. If the First Lady launches something, who are we to say no to it? Unless really we cannot. So let's sit down in our clusters, in our district. Let us think about this and move forward with that. Okay. So we are talking about planting trees as a school, and I have a question here. You may not answer it, but write it down if you can. We are talking about contextualizing teaching and learning in schools using a tree garden. Father Alfred has already told us about the trees they are planting. One of them is this one you are seeing here. My question to all of us and to your teachers, and this is the question I would love you to take to them. Is there a topic in the new lower secondary curriculum your teachers are going to teach this term that can make use of the item referred to as a tree or trees stroke forest to deliver an intended learning outcome? Now, can you imagine the history teacher thinking about this tree? What is it that the history teacher can say about trees? But maybe they are local trees. And the people of long ago, what did they use those trees for? Those forests for in your area? So, is there a topic in the new lower secondary curriculum your teachers are going to teach this term that can make use of the item referred to as a tree or trees or forests to deliver an intended learning outcome? For me, that is the question I want you to take to your teachers. And I want to request that the team teaching in classes senior 1 to 3, let them think about question 1 above and write a short lesson plan that can be followed by a teacher using a tree, trees, or forest in their classroom. Now, that is how difficult it can become when the mathematics teacher is thinking, and we want to see the new lower secondary curriculum. Is it going to make use of the Nehemiah initiative that the First Lady is asking us to follow? If you sat with me for a day, I can ably tell you all the subjects. If they told me what they are going to teach, maybe in a year, it may not be in the term, but there could be a term. I know my mathematicians of senior 3 are going to teach statistics this term, and they're waiting for the textbooks, yet they have the trees on their compound. I could even just go and measure the circumferences of those trees and take down a record of results, and we go and do a mathematics lesson. But in effect, I'm asking them to think about the trees on the compound. I want them to fight when you want to cut down a tree, because their mathematics lesson will not be complete the next time. And that is how we save the environment. So request that teaching group, senior 1 to 3, just write a short lesson plan. That English language teacher, how do they use that forest, that tree, or those trees on that school compound? So we'd like to mentor content developers in this area, because we must add value to what the First Lady launched. We must bring that tree into the classroom. We must begin to write the next textbooks for the lower secondary curriculum. If the textbooks are not coming, then we write our own textbooks, and it is possible. So I'll wait to hear. And Madam Koita, I will always remind you to remind the head teachers that I'm waiting for some lesson plans. I will put my email in the chat so that the members can take note of my email. My email should be something that is very common to all of us, because I use it and I want to hear from all of you going forward. So my email is in the chat. So these are some students in one school in 2016. I hope you can see the smiling faces of those learners. They're in their beautiful uniforms and they're planting trees. This is what I mean. I want to see the colors of our uniforms. How will you show me the colors of your uniform? With the action. And let the First Lady see the trees being planted in your school. But for now, the trees may not be there and we are not planting, but the lesson plans can come. So let us think critically about this. This was a head deputy teacher in one of the schools, and I hope that face can be familiar to you now. But the deputy teacher was participating in planting a woodlot for the school. I should have brought the picture of the woodlot now. It is grown. So you're the head teacher, you're going to participate. And that picture of that head teacher planting one of the trees in your school will be a great picture, which we can keep even when you have long gone. We can always look back at it and say, that forest belongs to that head teacher because he was here and he did that. That tree belongs to that head teacher. And we are having a good shed, enjoying because that head teacher was here. I was in Lango College, Lira district. Never mind, that is not Acholi region. I went below Acholi, but I had gone to do some work there as a ministry. And I talked about the Nehemiah project initiative. And one of the teachers went back home and showed me that she wrote me a story. She picked some mangoes from school in 2014. They were sweet. She took the seeds with her. She threw them just by the side of her home. Then she saw the seedlings grow. She planted them. She looked after the trees. Now you can see what she's doing. I don't want to explain. But the last jug is telling you that she can actually be in the market. She can actually pack juice for you. But what did she do? She only picked mangoes at the school and went and planted. Now, maybe there are mangoes. Maybe there are other fruit trees in your school. And the seeds are there. The seedlings are there. But you cannot say senior ones, the 150 who have come in this year or the 60 who have come in this year, let each one plant one. Let each one plant one tree. And 4 years later, the 60 pioneer students of this year will have planted 60 trees. And 60 trees can make a big difference, a very big difference. But this I found in Lango College. Maybe there is a story in West Nile. I need to look for that story. And maybe the head teacher, you are going to tell me about that story, about that teacher. Maybe it is you yourself and you have a story of some trees in your backyard, of some trees in school that can actually change the lifestyle of someone. But this teacher, she's a biology chemistry teacher. I asked her whether she can write a lesson plan. And she said she's going to write about food tests. And I can see food tests here, very alive. And in so doing, as she teaches about food tests, the learners can actually end up in the market making juice, and their livelihood will change when they make money. These are stories I'm carrying with me from Lira district to West Nile, but I want a story from West Nile to the other parts of the country. Are there opportunities for us? Yes, there are many opportunities for us when we decide to work a little differently. Learners and teachers can learn about business from the day-to-day school activities. Schools can become centers for community skilling. And all this is something you should be yearning for as a head teacher. For me, as a person coming to West Nile, the first time I was there, I bought honey and they told me West Nile has the best honey. I actually bought the honey in Moyo but they tell me in Nebi there is even better honey. They tell me in, I think Arua also has good honey. So I'm leaving something here. As a person, I would like to learn about beef farming and honey production from the schools within the areas that engage in this economic activity. And my plan is to write learning projects in all subjects within this business area. I want to request that you kindly get back to me if you'd like us to talk more on this. This does not go through Madam Koita. This comes directly to me because I'm interested. I want to support the new curriculum by writing learning projects in all the subjects within this business area of beef farming and honey production. And guess what? Maybe 4 years later, I will go to DIT for certification because a certain head teacher helped me learn more on this. So what is our strategy going forward? And these are my thoughts. These are my thoughts. One, and most importantly, let's make our schools visible. Let us write stories, articles about innovative practices happening in our schools on a daily and weekly basis. Keep pictures of the story as you grow the innovations. Now, at the top there, I have put a page which is called a blog. And I would like to teach anyone interested on how to create a blog for the school. But I know that your ICT teachers can do this. So let the ICT teacher or anyone with a skill start a school blog or online platform. A blog is easy and quick. It is cheap, but I'm ready. I'm ready to let everyone know in this world that there is a blog from a school in West Nile. I want to mobilize people far and wide to visit the Nebi, the Pakwach, the Aruas, Zombo, is by reading about you. Okay. I'm not sure, Madam Koita, if I'm still, if you can hear me anymore, Madam Koita.
Yes, I can hear you, but for some seconds you went off. I was typing in the chat, then again you came back online.
Okay, I think I went off by the picture, but I'm using the phone to speak. Are you hearing me as the picture comes?
Yes, I'm hearing you, but without picture.
Yes, I know that the picture is running on the network. It's running on the network of the, let me just see this. Let me just see if this works out. Just give me a minute. Okay. I need to set the laptop again, but can you hear me on the sound?
Yes, yes, sir, we can hear.
Okay, let me just see. I can, of course, what happens what happens is that, and this is one of those things you need to take note of. I put the laptop on the ministry line, and I put the voice on my phone. Okay, so the phone, so you can see the picture now. Huh?
Yes, we can see your slide.
Okay, okay, the slide is back. Okay, okay. So those are challenges. Challenges being we need to struggle. We need to struggle with the challenges of internet because we must connect. Anyway, I was speaking about the ICT teacher helping us to start a school blog. We may not get all the 96 schools. And even when I'm speaking to the private schools, I would tell them about this. We may not get everybody online, but we should be able to get some schools online. And we should be able to get innovative stories coming from our schools. And I know that our schools are very active. So we should be able to have representation. It would be good if everyone does. But even if you cannot, you write the story and walk to your neighbor and work from their computer room so that your story comes up. And when I say that, you, the head teacher, cause someone to do it. Cause that ICT teacher, cause that deputy, cause that DOS to tell us about, in that new curriculum, what innovation has our school brought? Has it brought anything? If it has brought something, let's see it. Let's see the learners. Let's hear the story. So let us share all the projects undertaken by the students and teachers, because it is the only way we shall remain alive as West Nile. And indeed, we want West Nile to shine. We want everyone in this country to shine. And I'm emphasizing this to West Nilers, and I know we can be able to do it. I'm here to support each school individually, by the way. I'm here to support each school individually and the whole region together. But it will depend on who reaches out more, faster. Some people will be slow, others will be faster. Change is a very important and a very interesting way. Change happens in a very interesting way. Some people run with whatever you say and they actualize it. Others wait to see, does it work? What do they gain out of it? Now, the gains here may not be as for the school, but as for you as the person. But also the other way around, the gains might be for the school and you don't gain out of it because you've not taken advantage. You've only asked the deputy or the DOS to do it. So you need to get involved, and then you will see the change that we are talking about. So thinking about the Nehemiah initiative, where Greening Schools for Enhanced Learning and Wellbeing was launched by the First Lady. And as I said, it is an indirect directive. The new lower secondary curriculum gives us a chance to become a research center and could provide a better future for our communities and all stakeholders. Even just finding out what is the impact of teaching mathematics from the compound. I mentioned measuring the circumferences of trees. Because I'm a mathematician, I can think about it. But what is the impact of doing that? And you write about it. That is a research. It is a finding from that school, which other people will want to read about. So I want to leave the second question here. Which school is ready to start on the initiative, with or without support from the Ministry of Education and Sports? I already had Father Alfred mention that school is already there. What about your school? When I was preparing this question, I didn't know that I would find a school like that one, but already I got an example of a school. Now, This does not mean that we shall look at you only in this respect, but that means that that school has a head teacher who is very, very innovative and wants to do anything at all costs. And that is what is important for us. Which head teacher differentiates himself from the others? What do they do? How do they do it? What makes them that? And for me, that would be a research. Can you imagine? I'm also coming in with a research in West Nile to understand what should you do with the head teachers and what change you see after some time. So I want to request, as we conclude, that if possible, and this is a request, whoever can, on June 8th, I think that would be a Thursday at 2 p.m., I want to request that you invite for me, starting with yourself, your deputy teacher, your DOS, and ICT teacher, together. I don't want people to sit in their home. I want them to be sitting together. So if your team cannot make it, well and good, but for us, we want to start. I want us to meet with this team. The head teacher is inviting the deputy teacher, is inviting the DOS and the ICT teacher to listen in on his one phone. If that is all you have in the school and you cannot make, you don't have a projector, you don't have a laptop, you cannot connect, you have a phone, to listen in on the phone and join this Zoom meeting. I'm going to share this with Madam Koita to share it with you. The meeting ID is there, the passcode, the link is there. And our agenda for that meeting will be talking about closing the learning gap using ICT for E. I have some ideas where the mathematics teacher in Zeu SS can talk to all mathematics teachers in the region, in the country. I have an idea that the senior 4 mathematics class can meet with all the senior 4 mathematics classes across the country. And I want the West Nile schools to be part of this. We call that closing the learning gap using technology. But I also want to talk about school practice. I don't know if you've received students on school practice, but I want us to do a good job, because those teachers that come to us in school practice most likely are the ones we shall post back in your school when they become, when they get interviewed by the Education Service Commission. How do we lay strategy for teachers who can stay in our school? Because those we are posting don't stay, and we want teachers who would stay. It may be after you when you have left that school, but at least let us lay a good strategy for that. And then the other thing we shall talk about are the school blogs that I've already mentioned to make our schools very vibrant and visible to anyone. So in my concluding remarks, as an individual, I'll be happy to receive your ideas as a school in question 1, and the plans of the school, including support needed in question 2. But I'm also sure my Commissioner for Government Secondary Schools, who is leading the initiative, the Nehemiah Initiative, the Permanent Secretary, and Mama herself will be happy to hear about the developments in your schools and the men and women causing the change from school to community to the world at large. I want to thank you for listening, and I now want to come back to you and open for the question and answer session. Madam Koita, some questions might be coming to you. Some questions are already in the chat, but I want to request that the members put up their hands if they have a question. We still have a few minutes before we conclude this session. We are given it 2 hours, but we can always close before that time. I thank you, and now I stop sharing and I will wait for the questions. Madam Koita, look through the chat and see if there were any questions. When I went off, my chat disappeared, but I know it is recorded somewhere.
Yes, I'm actually there. I'm trying to look for some questions so that I can be able to share with you.
I've put my email again in the chat because I think Sister Rebecca asked for it again. Okay. What I'm going to do is to make a co-host to whoever has their hand coming up, and you can now. Let's start with Sister Josephine. Sister Josephine, you open your microphone.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I would like to appreciate you for this initiative, for meeting us and sharing with us these pertinent issues. I would like to ask about the HEMIS registration.
Please mention the school, Sister Josephine.
This is St. Mary's Ediofe Girls Secondary School in Arua City.
Okay.
Yes. We have been having challenge, sir, with the registration of the non-nationals, especially Sudanese. There are some students who are living here in Uganda. They have refugee numbers. Their parents also have, and we have successfully registered them. But we also have this category of students who come direct from Sudan, just for the purpose of studies. During holidays, they go back to South Sudan and stay there with their parents. What could be the requirements for registering them? Since they don't have the refugee numbers, their parents also don't have these refugee numbers. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Josephine. I'll try to answer some directly or quickly. Those are the border students. They are South Sudan border, they are Kenya border, I think even on the other side of Congo, or when you come down to the Rwanda, you might find all sorts of border students at the border schools. That is a question that we are still answering. We will come up, keep them on the side. We know they are there. We are also thinking of what to do. In some areas, they actually, in the morning, they cross, study, and in the evening, they go home. So such students, what do you do with them? Unfortunately, definitely they enjoy the privileges of being a Ugandan. But what do you do? What do you do? So it's something we are still battling with, but very soon we shall advise on what to do. Keep them on your register, don't throw them away, and let us know how many they are when that time comes. Sister Rebecca.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Sister Josephine. Sister Rebecca.
Thank you so much, sir, for this great initiative. This is really something that we must embrace, because for now, even our cost of going to Kampala, maybe accommodation, eating has all been reduced to about maybe 5,000 shillings. Thank you so much. My issue is about teachers. You have clearly stated that you are going to look into it. But sir, my case is, I don't know, too special. And our district is too special, perhaps. Ever since there have been this issue of wage bills in the district, Secondly, during the time when now head teachers were to get these teachers who have gotten the appointment letters, and they are supposed to get a notification from the cow that they have wage bill. It has been a challenge. Personally, I went there many times. Even one time, the commissioner, human resource, got me on the waiting list. He just told me, sister, without wage bill, we are not going to send teachers to a Juman district to suffer. And right now, sir, what is happening in a Juman district, especially with the community schools, these refugee schools, they are now going to get all these our teachers because the government is going to employ for them these teachers. Like for me, 11 of my teachers that have really groomed for A level, they're teaching in A level, are going to be taken away. And within them, there is no sharing. They will not share with you, their teachers, and they are going to be employed by the government. Now, what about us? Nothing has been said about it. Even already, I am on my way. I've even made a stopover on the way. Thank you so much.
Sister, just hold on.
Yes.
Government is going to employ them.
Yes, please.
Where? It's going to employ them where?
In a Jimani district, there are some schools, refugee schools.
Oh, they are going to take them from your school.
My school, that's on Bob paid teachers are now going to be removed, and we shall be remaining with nothing. And to look for them is not easy.
Okay, sister, I want to understand this. Which school is this, sister?
St. Mary Assunta Girls Secondary School.
Oh,
we are
okay.
We are all an A level with about 700 students, but we have only 17 teachers, including myself.
Now
And
you are
then
saying
one
that, okay, you are saying that
Yes.
government is going to take them and take them to refugee schools.
Yeah, recently the PS even was here just last week, and then he went to these very schools like Pagirinya Senior Secondary School. They have been taking even teachers because for them they have the money. UNHCR has the money to pay them, and now they are going to be employed by the government.
Okay.
That will mean that we don't have teachers, even on
Okay,
book
but,
pay. And where
but do you have teachers with the notifications? Did you get teachers with the notification?
those ones have already gone away. They have gone to the smaller districts because the did not have the wage bill.
Ah, okay. But just recently, of course, we know that finance promised us to provide a more wage bill in July, but I know some districts have got some money already. Have you found out whether the money has gotten money?
I went to the human resource. He said that money has been taken away by the scientists. The scientists across those in the secondary, those in the health, those in the environment, all that money has gone.
Okay.
There's no money.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I also know that we are waiting for the Auditor General to complete. So we have a ban. We have a ban on transfer and deployment of teachers. And the Auditor General is completing his work. And after that, we should be able to go back to the deployments and transfers. And I hope that the Finance Ministry will also have provided some money. The challenge will be if Finance Ministry has not provided money. And if Finance has not provided money, that will be a big problem. But for now, sister, what I'm requesting everyone, can I get the teaching gaps? Let me have the teaching gaps. Two, if you have those students with the teachers with the notification letters, capture them under your school and bring in the forms so that when there is a chance of opening, I also struggle to make sure that our school get the teachers. My worst thought was that there are no students even with the notification letters in these districts. But if they are there, then that is also a blessing that they exist. Okay? But let's capture the teaching gaps. Let us capture those students with the notification letters. Let me have the physical copies and let me have the form filled online, and let us battle the issue of no teachers. I think when we have a good record of teaching gaps, every other person will listen to us as long as there is money from Ministry of Finance. Okay, thank you, Sister Rebecca. Let's keep talking about this and let us see what to do. Father Alfred.
Okay, thank you so much. I have already sent my teaching gaps online. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, sir. And good afternoon to everyone. I'm very grateful for this opportunity that you have given us. It is excellent. We look forward to more participation like this. The first phase of my question you have partially answered about the teaching gap. Yes, we are going to work on that because in Zombo district, we have a very stiff shortage of science teachers. And it has been very, very difficult with the new lower curriculum program. It is very difficult to share teachers in between. I remember I was trying to look for some teachers, and when I met the cow, said, yes, I can sign the form. And I was very delighted that he was going to sign the form. And he signed the teacher, the wage bill is not there. We are overdue by 800,000 debt in deficit. And it was so embarrassing. I said, okay, thank you, Mr. Cow. And then I walked away with the paper not to forward to any place because that was a waste. And so the teaching gap, as particularly in science, I so happen to be the chairperson of Zombo district, ASHU. The teaching gap of science is very, very pathetic. But what you have said for us to present the teaching gaps, I think that may help us awaiting the result of the Auditor General's audit work. But number two that I wanted to put forward, sir, is about these books. We have just been battling this question this afternoon with my teachers. And I said, let me hope the meeting this afternoon helps me to answer some of these questions. It is too urgent to delay anymore. I think we need these books as soon as immediately, if it was possible, so that, finances is lacking. A cost of commodity of food material and so forth has gone so high to share this money with the locally paid teachers and then food material and so many other requirements. It is very, very wanting. And then lastly, I would like to encourage that as we look at these processes for budgeting, budget approval, some of us had already handed in our books to the former desk. And I believe they could be passed over to you. And then you are mentioning some requisitions, which were not part of the first requirement. I do not know if the waiver includes approving these budgets the way they are being presented, or we have to recap the new requirements. Like I remember you were talking about the meeting minutes of the Finance Committee, and then the 3 circulars, these were not earlier demands in the budget booklet presentation. I would desire to be helped, probably with my colleagues also, to be helped in this. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Alfred. Starting with the budgets, if we may start with the budgets. Like I said, the budgets have been taken to the Permanent Secretary's office, and we don't know what waiver will be given. However, my request to you, now I'm talking to my family of West Nilers, my request to you is take one of those books you came back with and fill it with all the missing documents as per the guidelines, and just be ready. In case you are requested, to comply with the new guidelines, then it will only be the letter of the PS that is missing, and you have all the other letters. And all these letters, all these documents are with you. Circulars for the 3 terms, you have the copies of the circulars. Minutes of the PTA, you have the minutes of the PTA. Minutes of the finance committee, you have the minutes of the finance committee. So these are the same things, you have them, but you just didn't put them because they were not required. So let's read the guidelines and fill that one form, one booklet that came back to you. Fill it in, and be sure if they ask for it, you just hand over the copy. For now, we expect a waiver. But who knows? The waiver may not come, because the issue was, especially for schools that increased the school fees. For schools that increase the school fees, the waiver may not come. But if you maintain the school fees, although last year you also raised them from another figure without permission, that would be a different matter. Okay? But let's have these documents together. The books. I was actually trying to call the officer in charge of books to just tell me when is West Nile on schedule, because I know that the distribution by one of the companies started last week and other companies were to start. I only fell short of getting the details, but these books are urgently needed. That is something that everybody appreciates. The wait has been long. The challenge was big for us as a ministry, but now at least there is hope around the corner. So let us, I will tell Madam Koita tomorrow. I will find out more. I will let our regional chair know so that she can communicate. Kindly keep on WhatsApp in that group. Madam Koita, I don't know if we have a group. I don't know how you are communicating to the people. I'm not going to ask to be part of that group because I don't want to communicate. I want to communicate through you. I know I asked my friends in Acholi to put me on the group, and they said, wait a minute, should we have him? Shouldn't we have him? No, you have your discussions nicely on the group, but let everyone be on that group. Let's mobilize and have all the secondary school head teachers on that group. Then I don't know if you have another one with all the private schools as ASHU, but do whatever it takes to ensure that at least starting with these secondary school head teachers, they are on some group somewhere. And then we can think about also our colleagues in the private schools, because there are other issues, like the issue of textbook is across everyone. They need to know what is happening. Teaching gap in science. Teaching gap in science, step 1, let me have an informative desk. This is what schools in West Nile are up to. They have no science teachers. They have very few teachers. This is the teaching gap. And let us walk this journey together as we see that we get teachers into our schools. But like I said, all this is dependent on the availability of what? Of funds. But thank you, Father Alfred, and let's continue talking. Maxwell, we allowed you to open your microphone. Go ahead.
Hello.
Maxwell.
Hello. Yes, please.
Maxwell,
Yes, please.
this is
Hello.
Arua Public.
Yes,
Arua
please.
Public. Okay, go
Yes,
ahead.
please. Yeah, thank you so much, our desk officer. In particular, I'm very grateful for this kind of interaction. Are you getting me?
Yes, we are getting
Hello?
you. Yes, we are
Yes,
getting
please.
you.
Yes,
Go ahead.
please. Yeah. As said already, my name is Maxwell Damadri, head teacher of public, and I double as the chair, Arua City. And other concerns have been already raised. In fact, more particularly, I had an issue of textbooks. I think that one you have made some clarification, but all the same, we wish for the best. If the process could be expedited, I think it will save us on more especially spending extra monies on instructional materials. Otherwise, one more important issue here is mine is a request, because in absentia on second, we had a regional MDD, more particularly a meeting focusing on the MDD, which is supposed to be hosted by West Nile. And I was elected as the chair COC in absentia because I had a function at school here. So my request here is, I don't know whether it would be possible, because these are some of innovations we are yet having in West Nile. We may not, some of us may not be well abreast with some of these, what we are supposed to do. So my request goes direct to you. As being the chair of the hosting city or district, I would wish that if you could give me time once in a while, talk to you and get more guidance. But all importantly, what I wanted to say was about the textbooks, and if we could also have these interactive Zoom meetings regularly, and maybe have a schedule for that, so that we could raise our concerns. I think it will save us on transport fares, the per diems, and the other movements. I think this is what I wanted to put as a concern from this end. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Maxwell. First of all, take note, Thursday, 8th, 2 p.m. Please mobilize your deputed teacher, your DOS, and your ICT teacher, so that we sit and talk with all the others. But secondly, I think you have a committee. You have a committee, or you are just the chair without a committee?
I have a committee.
Is it possible
but
that
I've not yet been briefed. I was not in attendance.
Is it possible that we organize a meeting with now the person in charge here is Mr. Mugisha David. He's the one running this. Let me get back to Mr. Mugisha David and ask him if we can have a meeting, an online meeting with your committee.
Yes,
with your
please.
committee. And I don't know whether he will also suggest that it is, but I think the committee first. It can be the committee first, then you bring all the head teachers again, because you are not going to do this alone. So I suggest that we plan with him. Maybe next week we have a meeting as a committee. Okay, so that
Yes.
he tells you his expectations. Okay, and then
Yes,
you also
please.
discuss with him. Then after that, I also suggest that we organize another with the head teachers, and I hope the head teachers here will be accepting your invitation. My duty is to organize and set the room, the Zoom room, open, and then I give you as chair rights to be able to speak to your people going forward. So that one I think would be a quick one. Let's look at it and see if it's possible. Textbooks, I am with you. Everybody is with you. All of us are with you, and let us pray hard that this happens, so that we are all looking not too good to the public, not only you, the schools, even us. So we are doing whatever it takes as a ministry. But as I said, issues of finance and other issues of late delivery by the people publishers, but majorly finance is keeping us out a bit. And of course, when the finance is not there, they cannot procure, they cannot ship the books here. So all of that is now delayed. Okay. Father Alfred, Father Alfred, did that hand remain up by mistake because we want to close? I think she remained up.
I think so.
There was somebody from Adjumani who was also talking about teachers. There was somebody from Adjumani who was talking about teachers. But I was in Adjumani sometime and they told me that okay, this is not for you, it is for human resource. But they told me that teachers who transferred from Adjumani to other districts have remained on the payroll of Adjumani. And I think this is now the time, now that I'm back to Adjumani as the West Nile, to interface with the people in Adjumani to discover, is that the truth? Is that the truth? Because it could be the truth that there are teachers who transfer to other districts but are still on the Adjumani payroll. But that is not for you, it is for people in Adjumani offices. I will take it up with them. Sister Rebecca, I know you are traveling, but
Yes.
you want to mention something.
Yes, to mention something which you have just said about teachers being transferred and they're still on the payroll.
And I'm also answering your message there.
Yes.
To the negative, but let me answer. Okay, go on.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, I think that is not true. Maybe in the past, but not now.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. I just
Yes.
remembered because I was in the office there, education office, and they said this is what human resource tells us. But I'm yet to discover more on that. Madam Koita,
Okay.
you have any concluding remarks if you're still there, Madam Koita?
Maybe before that, there is a question on the chat
Yes.
from St. Aloysius College near Pear, that kindly note that I'm failing to submit details for senior 6, 5, and 1 students. These are generally new students who didn't register from their previous schools. They didn't register in the previous year, 2022, with an error which is called server error. This has slowed down our progress in submission of students on the EMIS. So
Okay.
the teacher is requesting for feedback.
Okay, Madam Koita, I'm going to share, I don't know if I shared the district support schools group C. I'm going to share with you on WhatsApp immediately after this. Share it. Let people put the challenges there. At times it is, by the way, an issue of connectivity. But at other times there are individualized challenges and we need somebody near you to say, this is what I used to find, but now I was able to do this, to overcome it. So let us go to the district support group and let us put our complaints there and we shall be able to address them. Okay, with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so grateful that this has happened. I thank the good Lord who has enabled us to join. It is a good start. We were about 30 out of the 96, but I want to encourage, you don't need to have connectivity in your school. You need to walk to the next school. Head teachers, open your doors to the next head teacher. Head teachers speak to the next head teacher when things are not working out. We need all the 96 in attendance, either together or 3 people sitting in the same room, or individual as you have done. I can see Mr. Aluma Badru is alone in his room. Yes, in your office. We want to thank all of you for joining. Feel free to put on your camera and I take some pictures if possible, if you can, feel free. I also want to open the, I want to allow whoever wants to say hello to another person they've not seen in the past. That is okay. We are now closing, but I also want to request Sister Rebecca to give us a closing prayer. Sister Rebecca, close for us.
Thank you so much,
Okay, sisters' network has been poor. We may not have heard. My friend Aluma Badru, can you hear me? Open your mic and pray for us. Let's have another version of prayer also. We've listened to sister, but we also want another faith here now. Mr. Aluma, can you open your microphone and pray for us from your faith? Mr. Aluma Badru, your microphone can open. You click on the microphone to open. Okay, now I need someone from the other from the Muslim faith to pray for us. You can put up your hand and I can open your mic. Someone from the Muslim faith to add to the prayer. Raise your hand and I open for you. It looks like I've missed Hajj has gone off. Anyone?
Our Vice Chair, Mr. Munduga Muzamil, is on.
I can't see where he is. Badru, you are back. Badru, can you open your microphone, Badru? Now pray for us. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I hope you are getting me right.
Yes, we are getting you right
You are
now.
loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. Let us pray. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the most gracious, the protector, the sustainer. We're very grateful for your endeavor that you have given for us the wisdom to attend this Zoom meeting. That is the first of its kind that the whole of West Nile is connected using the technology. We pray that you open our mind so that we administer the schools that we are heading without any challenge. Give us the wisdom, give us the power, and remove the illness that we have. Make us very powerful amidst the challenges that we have financially. Give for us that wisdom to overcome them. I pray all this in the name of Allah, the Creator. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Badru. And as teachers, we always have to be patient to get that person to say something like we have done.
Thank you very much.
Madam Koita, maybe let's just note, maybe at the beginning of every term, let's organize something like this. We will organize others, but let's put some standing requests that at the beginning of every term, we have a meeting like this. And maybe sometime we shall bring the PS or bring the commissioner or bring whoever we want to join in. And at some point also, we will have Acholi land, the Acholi schools joining us so that I don't have to do 2 meetings, but I do both regions together to save us the trouble of days. I want to thank you and request that please take note. And for 8th June, I'm also going to invite the schools from Acholi region to join in so that we do that together and easily. I want to thank you all. Everybody is open now. If you wanted to say hello to somebody, we have 1 minute. I will close this meeting shortly. Thank you.
Abembem.
Abembem.
Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening, my sister. Thank you for hearing from you.
And thank you for attending.
I will always be
For the
there.
first time I've attended also.
Oh, that's nice.
Donge Francis from Pakada Seed.
Wow, my little brother.
My big
Thank you for
sister, thank
attending.
you.
Yes.
I want to thank Badru for that prayer.
Thank you very much, dear. I
was-
can still
I know it was not easy.
recall the muchobu we ate in Adjumani. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you all.
Greetings to
these
everybody in
teachers and
Zombo,
teachers
in
for
Germany.
attending.
Father,
Wow.
Hey, so you are
Oh,
there.
Chair, thank you for this organization.
Madam
I'm around.
Thank you for being there.
Thank you.
Incognito.
Thank you, Madam Koita and Alexis.
My regards go to Igori.
Okay.
No, this is you, Maxwell.
Igori,
Ingonia, Mapelere,
no, Nietzsche,
Matsui,
Manjo Kose.
Ayazo.
Hello, Father Alfred. How are you?
Yes, my chair, I'm good. Thank you for this initiative. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you for spearheading the Nehemiah project.
Welcome.
The Nehemiah initiative. I'm close to you. I'll be the first person to come and learn from you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. Okay.
Sister Rebecca, you said you are traveling?
No, she's seated in the office. She's in the office. I can see her.
It looks like she's not traveling.
It is Assunta who is traveling.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay. Abembem, pray for
Yes.
me. I'm not feeling all right.
No, we shall pray for the Lord's healing hand to heal you completely. Yeah.
Actually, today as I talk now,